you were never prepared for this. You entered the world assuming that a mother's love was as certain as breathing or a heartbeat. Yet there exists an unnamed agony, veiled by layers of silence, the agony of children unloved. This pain may be invisible, concealed beneath the surface, but it pulses within you like a festering seed, giving rise to self-doubt, anxiety, fear of rejection, and misplaced anger. Nietzsche understood this. A soul unloved not only breaks but also opens. Picture your birth. You cry, you reach out, but the expected embrace never arrives. Instead of warmth and presence, you encounter indifference, demands, and judgment. An absent mother isn't always physically gone. Sometimes she's there, but emotionally distant. It's the presence without recognition that deeply wounds, not just the physical absence, but a subtle emotional neglect. This is the silent tragedy, one that leaves no bruises yet scars your very sense of self. Ever ponder why you repeat destructive behaviors? Why you flee from genuine affection or repeatedly choose relationships that reflect your deficiencies? It's because, unconsciously, you're attempting to fix through others what was unresolved with her. You might not realize it, but it's encoded in your interactions, your fear of visibility, your desperate need to be chosen, even at the cost of losing yourself. Nietzsche talked about eternal recurrence, the repetitive cycle of suffering until you either break or awaken. Maternal rejection is more than trauma. It's a maze. Only those brave enough to confront it can escape without becoming petrified. However, there's a twist in the narrative. The pain isn't the conclusion. It's merely the beginning. The rejection ingrained in your bones could mark the start of your journey towards self-realization. What was absent externally must be forged internally. This is where your path takes a philosophical, psychological, and transformative turn. The mother you lack can be nurtured within yourself. This isn't merely a comforting thought. It's a fierce act of rebuilding, a cessation of seeking externally what can only be fulfilled by you. And yes, it's painful. It's painful to acknowledge that the woman who gave you life couldn't, didn't, or wouldn't love you, possibly because she herself was damaged. It's painful, yet it liberates. As long as you await her approval, you remain chained to her shadow, which might even mimic your own voice. The real tragedy isn't the lack of love received. It's learning not to love yourself in return. You adopt her critical tone, view yourself through her indifferent gaze, impose on yourself demands that would overwhelm even an adult. And with every failure, every stumble, you hear her voice. She might not be present, but she persists within you until you disown her, until you confront and decide not to replicate her neglect. Nietzsche speaks to this. Profound pain, once understood, transforms into strength. A soul that has reached its lowest point has two options: self-destruction or transformation. Those who embrace their depths discover authenticity. Understanding your pain isn't sufficient. You must enact it. Depth psychology insists that traumas aren't healed through motivational slogans, but through symbolic actions. you must confront that internal mother, formed from fragments of fear and necessity, and bid her farewell. Conduct a ritual of mourning, a psychological detachment. As long as you wait for her acknowledgement, for that embrace, you remain that abandoned child in a desolate room. Take action. Write a letter expressing all you couldn't before. Weep if needed. Burn the letter. Bury its ashes. This isn't theatrics. It's emotional alchemy. The unconscious speaks in symbols. Say farewell and mean it. Then question yourself. Who would I be if I never had to beg for love? What part of me still awaits a touch that will never arrive? Can I exist without her approval? Here begins the true revolution, the emergence of the emotional adult who no longer seeks a mother in every partner, who doesn't forsake themselves, who refrains from self-punishment, who becomes their own nurturing, steadfast, attentive mother. This absent mother now exists within you in how you nurture, converse, and remain true to yourself. Nietzsche knew this. Those who have a why can endure almost anyhow. Your why is rooted in that wound, not by chance but as a harsh lesson in your capacity for self-rebuilding. Rejection ignited this. The ongoing flame is yours to control. But be cautious, the shadow remains, merely transformed. The internal mother you cultivate can also succumb to criticisms and demands. Avoid idealizing. Maintain and refresh her. Allow yourself to falter without descending into self-destruction. Self-love is not a destination, but a daily practice. Each choice to break the cycle is a historical act in your personal narrative. Thus, you are not broken, but in process, not less loved, but summoned to love yourself directly. This is freedom, the freedom to cease waiting, to cease pleading, and to start building from within. You are whole, incomplete, yet sufficient. Now, are you ready to become your own mother, to stop seeking what you inherently deserve? Because once you do, nothing can hold you back. You won't need to search for love. You will embody it, unbreakable. And here's where it deepens. Something seldom discussed is that the body also remembers. The scars of maternal rejection aren't just mental, they're etched into your physicality, your movements, your posture, the tension in your muscles, how you breathe or tighten your jaw when watched. Neglect doesn't just impact your psychology, it molds your physiology. Without affection, your body becomes a battlefield of silence. And the grim reality? You normalize this state, mistaking ongoing biological alarms for mere anxiety. You live in perpetual anticipation of abandonment, even before anyone arrives. What this amounts to is emotional hyperalertness, a deep-seated programming that prepares you to be overlooked. Don't relax. Don't trust. And when someone does get close, your body tightens, not because they pose a danger, but because it recalls. It remembers every time you sought warmth and received coldness, every silenced cry. Thus, love transforms into a hazard, intimacy into an ordeal, closeness into a perilous zone. You engage in relationships tinged with fear, connect only halfway, not out of timidity, but because your body braces for impact. This leads to a harsh truth. Unaddressed maternal rejection severs you from your instincts. Nietzsche saw instinct as the essential force for authentic living. But if your upbringing taught you that your desires were excessive, your tears bothersome, your excitement unwelcome, you learn to mistrust your feelings, killing your instinct. You become an overthinker, filtering each impulse, censoring yourself preemptively. You lose touch with your desires, uncertain if your emotions are genuine or snares. And therein lies the ultimate robbery, the theft of your essence. But heed this, for it might alter everything. Your body can relearn. No matter how long you've been on guard, how often you've shut down your feelings, a path back exists. And it's not mental. It's physical, gradual, uncomfortable, but attainable. It starts when you permit yourself to fully inhabit your being, when you stop fighting your reactions and start listening to them, when you transform every anxiety into an inquiry. What part of me seeks recognition? True healing isn't dramatic. It lacks cinematic scores or climactic finales. It's about returning to basics, eating without self-reproach, sleeping without guilt, breathing without apprehension, touching without discomfort. The often discussed self-love isn't an abstract concept. It's a return to bodily awareness. Because only when you reacquaint with yourself can you begin to differentiate your genuine feelings from those imposed upon you. And then, something extraordinary occurs. When the body feels secure, it stops defending itself. It relaxes. And with that relaxation, your entire mode of interaction softens. You begin to respond rather than react, to choose instead of replicate, to trust not others but yourself, because you no longer await rescue. You choose yourself daily, quietly, unseen. But the journey doesn't end here. There's a deeper aspect of this wound seldom explored: your relationship with time. Yes, time. Maternal rejection distorts your perception of the present, anchoring you to a past moment of pain. It prevents you from fully inhabiting the now, keeping you tethered to a perpetual wait for what was never there. This realization isn't just enlightening, it's transformative. Understanding this can shift your entire existence, allowing you to live in the present, free from the shadows of past rejections. So, as you embark on this path of self-discovery and healing, remember, the journey is yours alone. The steps you take, the love you cultivate within, the freedom you gain from breaking old cycles, all of this defines not just who you are, but who you can become. You are not defined by what you lacked, but by what you dare to embrace. And in this daring, there lies not just healing, but the potential for transformation. Are you ready to take that step? To stop waiting for a love that was never given and start providing it for yourself? Because when you do, you become unstoppable. You are not just recovering love. You become the embodiment of it. And that is something no one can take away.